Hello, everybody. We are coming to you at a special time today. I wanted to throw in an extra show today because we've got so much content. We got so many stories to talk about. But if you've not been here before, my name is Elizabeth, and I am your friendly hillbilly host. And this is Hillbilly Crime. We've got Sweet Tater here with us, and she is my little old mommy. Thank you for being here. And we've got a couple people here already. Thank you for being here, Miss Marnie. Girl Ryan, yes, thank you. Okay, so we're just going to jump into it here. So this was the city council meeting Monday night for the case that we saw a couple weeks ago where the police had a search warrant and they went to the wrong house.
We're going to go ahead and call this regular council meeting to order. If the city clerk will do roll call.
Miss Little?
Yes.
Mr. Gunn?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Bench? Miss Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Full of fireworks, y'all.
The first thing on the agenda tonight, we have Brown here with the county clerks. He's got some things he wants to say.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to thank you, Mayor Whittle, for allowing me to come up on such short notice, and I'm going to give this to all the council and yourself. Well, Mr. Price. That's it. We'll keep it as long as
We'll move past that. Maybe. Here he goes.
Now, the reason I came tonight at such short notice, some of you may know I've been looking into Laurel County history and researching a lot of things, getting ready for the bicentennial coming up next year. If you don't know, this was my great-grandfather's book that was published in 1954, and it is a history of Laurel County with many stories about Laurel County, the beginnings and all that. And as I've been reading it, going through it, I found something the other day, last week, and I should have said something last week, but I thought of it today because something gets on my mind and I have to go with it. And a story in it was First Laurel Court in Aunt Jency's cabin. And I'll read this aloud. This is just a real short paragraph for everyone. Aunt Jency was a slave of General Jarvis Jackson and probably of his father, John Jackson. All the African-American Jacksons of the county are her descendants. It was Aunt Jency's cabin that later became the family wash house that Laurel County was organized, London established, and the first court was held. Mrs. A.R. Dyke, who was actually my step-great-great-grandmother, whose first husband was John C. Jackson, son of Jarvis Jackson, wished very much that the alley leading to that cabin and to the city school lunchroom, in which was the original Morn Road, be named Jency Street. It wasn't, but of course, it could yet be done. This was published 71 years ago. And I read this story and it meant a lot to me because, one, we're getting ready to celebrate our bicentennial, but here was a person, a slave, who took a big part of our beginnings because that's where the first meetings were held, were in her cabin located behind where London School is now. If you look on the second page there, I have a map, actual an aerial drawing of the school with the street. Now that street right now is legally known as North Hill Street. There are no addresses at this location. Even the G.C. Garland building is specified as 710 North Main Street. So there are no addresses there. And what I've come here tonight is to ask the city council if they would consider renaming that Genesee Street, and possibly sometime in the near future, the African American heritage people or the city of London could put a plaque up there and explain why that is called Genesee Street and why that means so much to the people of London and Laurel County.
Council, do you have any comments or a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second it.
The real call.
I'd like to have a copy of that book too.
Yes.
Mr.
Mommy,
Young?
why don't
Yes.
you try to
Mr.
track it
Ortega?
down
Yes.
for us?
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
There you go, Tony.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
We also have a minister here that's going to open this up in prayer. I wanted to get the county official, his time. I know he's a busy man as well, so get him in here and get him out. If Kyle Bargo will come to the podium to start us off in prayer.
Let's pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we want to begin this meeting tonight by acknowledging you. You tell us in your word that if we acknowledge you, that you will direct our paths. And that is what we all need, really, clear direction from you. Father, I pray that you would give the mayor and the city council unusual wisdom and discernment as they run the affairs of our city. Help them to remember who they serve and who they're accountable to. First, to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for all things are from him and for him. Second, to the people of London who have elected them among their peers to make good decisions for the betterment of our community. Bless them in this endeavor. And those who serve in our community as well, our police officers, our fire department, the sanitary workers, and all those who work behind the scenes to make London a better place. Help our discussions to be gracious tonight, good-spirited, and yet always honest. Unify us in our love and concern for our friends and our neighbors. And I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I think Councilman Ortega is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, but to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I can't watch it and not do it.
Okay, the first thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the January 6th, January the 22nd, and January 29th meeting, and the January 31st meeting. We can get a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Do your roll call.
Ms. Little?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Abstain.
Wow.
Next thing on the agenda that we have is the body cameras. In your packet, council, you'll find a letter from my office with the original quote for $425,000 and then the new quote. The reason that we selected the Motorola solutions is the state police uses the same company. Some of the officers went up with the command and they checked it out. They said that that's who they would like to use as well. And the state police spoke highly about it. The original quote was so high because we were putting them in the vehicles. And the storage for that, even though it's in the cloud base, it was going to be significant because they never.
Remember, he quoted at the last meeting it was going to be a $500,000 contract for like 4 or 5 years, but that's $500,000.
Turn off. So to lower the cost, we decided you'll see the original quote that we put in there in your packet, and then you'll see the lower cost one. And that's removing it from the equipment, from the vehicles, and just where it is on the officers themselves. That would reduce the price down to $30,800 per year on this 5-year contract. We did sign the contract. The body cams have came in. We're waiting for the guy that does the training. He said it would possibly be a week or so because he's out sick. But just as soon as they can get trained on it, they will be put on the officers. I think the PD has implemented or in the process of finishing up the policy for the body cams as well. Is there any questions regarding the body cams?
I have a question, Mayor. How many body cameras?
There's 40.
40.
I have a question. How come the $425,000 quote, there's not a copy of that in the packet?
You have the first one, the first page.
You mean this page?
No, if you flip that over, it's the quotes, that's the very first quote you open up to.
Okay. I was just curious. It didn't look like it came from, I didn't know if it came from us or came from them. I'm just curious.
Is that something that the
Now,
council
there
didn't
is
need to sign off on?
No. They were taking it out of forfeiture funds. But the invoice does look different because you have a quote and then you have the invoice for once we settled on the contract, which is the second page in that. You have one that's stapled together. The second page, it says Motorola, and it's the invoice.
Yeah, only thing is, it's not a signed quote from Motorola. It's got your signature on it, but it's not signed from them.
Yeah, the actual one that we accepted, that was the lower amount, which is your last page, it is signed. Any other questions regarding that?
Do we still have the old cameras that were in surplus?
That's a good question. I never asked that. That company is out, they went out of business.
Okay.
Is one of the reasons they stopped using them. So we couldn't return them, I don't think, but they could have. Eric, can you answer that question? The
So the cost of the camera being at the time, Motorola, what's known as WatchGuard, then was going to charge us for storage, which you can imagine storage is expensive at that time. Well, now they have changed to where now the storage is unlimited, but the cameras that we have in place, that's why we've got 40 cams instead of 35. Fairly awesome. Because if a camera goes down, then to abide by if the policy, however the policy is written, make sure the officer has a camera. That's why we have extra cameras that we can take and put on that officer, so he doesn't go without a camera.
Gotcha.
Eric, I'm a little out of touch. How many officers do we have right now? Sorry.
I honestly, I think figure that out.
There's 35.
35.
I was just curious why the council wasn't informed that the body cams were being taken out of use. We didn't know anything about it at the time, but I guess last month there was a letter in our packet from the chief at that time saying they were temporarily suspending their use. I think it's what it said, but I know we didn't know anything about it. I was just wondering why we was not informed.
The body cam discussions were in the subcommittee talks when we talked about building the PD and the dispatch center. It was part of the upgrade of trying to get grants because every system over there needs to be upgraded, not just there, but the dispatch center as well, which is not just the city's burden of that is, of course, we give to the budget of that. But in that building that we've all been talking about and you guys created a subcommittee about, these things have been mentioned.
But according to the letter, that was in March of 23 or 22 that they were taken out. I think it's 23, wasn't it?
23.
Okay. I don't remember us even mentioning anything about the building until later than that, but maybe we did.
We've been talking about the building for quite some time.
The 1 week of training, is that going to be by Motorola?
Yes, correct.
Is that the same training that the sheriff's office is going to have?
Yes, they went with the same system.
And just, this might be a silly question, but was there any benefit for us going into the same contract with the county to maybe get a better deal if they got 36 cameras and we got 40, you know, just to save money? Was there any conversation about that?
All right, sorry, I forgot I was on mute. Let me stop that real fast and just make a point out this comment that Tiffany said. Federal grants, good luck with that. No, that's the problem. Down here in these hillbilly backwoods mountains, these people have gotten really good at, well, maybe not really good, but they've become very aware of all the money that's available in these grants. It's not just this, but if you look around at all of these different little towns, all of the money, the grant money that they come up with is unbelievable. And then who's overseeing that? Who's doing the oversight of where the funding comes from, where it goes, where it's being transferred to? If you're watching this city council meeting like I am, that mayor, these city council members act like they're scared to death of him. They're all weak and pitiful little voices, you know, that they're trying to find out questions. And this mayor is like, well, we've been talking about it for a long time. Well, that's not an answer. That guy was looking for a concise answer for his question. And he let that mayor just bamboozle him with his double talk. And that's what happens. But wait, it gets good, y'all. It gets really good. Fireworks are getting ready to fly.
No, we didn't talk about a joint venture with the county, but it really doesn't go by that. It's about the storage. That's the bulk price. These cameras don't cost hardly anything. It's all about that storage. And these type of cameras is so when they're turned on, they record. And so.
So did I hear that right? Did he say the cameras cost next to nothing? But the all this money that it's costing is going towards storage? Is that what he just said?
In the event something goes down, there's that video footage there. So
I guess so.
It's all about the storage when it comes to these.
And these are the ones that KSP uses, the ones that once they get to their station, it just automatically just syncs up and
Correct.
And downloads. Okay.
Well, that's on the in-car units. I do believe from what I was told that when they pull in, that would have happened. I think with these, if I'm not wrong, and Eric may elaborate more, but it's once they put them in the docking station to be charged at end of shift.
And then my only last question is, are we going to have to hire another employee for open records requests?
So that's something that we've been discussing because there's a lot of redaction when it comes to these. We're trying to see what we can do internally right now, but that may be a possibility. I know the PD has mentioned that they may need to have somebody the full time on this.
Just real fast to answer that question. All of these city council meetings are held in the evening. They're never held during the day. They're always held in the evening. That way people are off work and they can attend if they choose to.
I make a motion that we accept the bid.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
Well, we're still talking about cameras. Can I ask a question?
Yep.
The cameras that was taken down off of the buildings, who was those bought by?
They were bought by the city.
The city? Okay, where are those cameras now?
Eric, where's those cameras at now?
They're in the city hall, in the office.
What are the plan for those cameras, Eric?
Well, those cameras are used for like events or something that goes on in an event. As far as that, unless we have something come up, we leave them sitting there.
How much was one camera? Do we know?
Man, I couldn't tell you right off. That's obviously don't know.
Who's Eric, just so we know, because I don't know who Eric is.
Eric's our IT director.
Okay.
I honestly couldn't tell you right off.
Can you get that to us, Eric? If you don't mind, just a price on those. Thank you.
And would we have
And
also
we'll
needed to
purchase.
sign a contract on that?
No, there was no contract signed for the cameras.
And were they purchased with forfeiture money, or did they come from the budget?
I don't really remember.
How would the
Do
city
you remember, Eric?
council?
Did they do them with their forfeiture?
I'm gonna stop it because people get mad at me when I talk over the video. Why would the city council not already know the answers to these questions? Because this Mayor Weddle went behind the city council's back and went and bought those cameras, and it was cameras that they had in their town. They had them up on their buildings for special events, like festival, if they have a festival in the fall or whatever. But I mean, this goes to show you how much money this mayor has access to, that he can just go do whatever he wants with it, apparently, and then answer to the city council after the fact. Who's ever heard of anything, such a thing? But remember, the way that they said they set up their government, the city, I don't think their city council in the city of London is set up that way like it is here in Letcher County, because they said the only thing that the city council has power over is the budget. I think this mayor might have the authority and the power to do as he's been doing.
I can get,
Let me know if I'm
yeah,
wrong.
we can look it back up and let you guys know.
Thank you.
Any other questions about those?
No, there was actually more than that. I think there was
How many cameras are they, Eric?
five.
There's
I
five
think.
total.
Five. That's what we own.
Any other questions? All right, moving on. We have action for Autism 2025. Lisa Depew, she's here. If you'll come to the podium, to speak to council.
Hello, I'm Lisa Depew. I'm here on behalf of Action for Autism. We started in 2024. We've been having a walk annually since 2024, and we are making a request to host one April 12th from Town Center Park to the Farmers Market.
When you say 2024, are you messed up on that
I'm sorry,
date?
2014, sorry.
Yes. Thank
That
you.
year's closer.
I knew I'd been at a lot more of them.
Sorry.
Are you still wanting to use Main Street?
We would like to, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
And you'll have a table set up at the Farmers Market and Town Center Park
Yes, we will.
with the march to begin when?
Correct.
What time will the march begin?
Sorry, we will actually walk at noon.
Have you talked to the chief of police or the police department yet to confirm?
I have not. I usually speak to them after I meet with you all.
Is this chief or assistant here to?
No, they're currently not here.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. I make a motion that we accept
I'll second.
this action for autism law. Thank you, John.
Ms. Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Lisa. Next thing on the agenda we have is the fire department surplus. You'll find in your packets, it's a 16-year-old 2009 Ford Victoria. They'd like to sell it and try to get it replaced. We have some of the guys from the fire department here if you have any questions.
What's the current value of the car? I know it's not much, but I'm just curious.
It's not very much. Transmission's actually right at all.
When did it stop working, chief?
It's been a few months.
A few months.
Blows me
Are
away.
y'all gonna surplus this through an auction or you, I didn't know. Okay.
What would you need to replace this? SUV, vehicle?
More than likely.
Okay.
So I guess the chief is getting a new vehicle. Is that what they said?
I'm all for for selling it, but as far as purchasing a replacement, I would really like to see what this is going to bring. Do you use the government auction site for that?
Seems like they're spending a lot of money.
I think that's exactly.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good luck in the past with that. Tremendous. It's amazing. Versus maybe locally or things like that. I would be interested to see what it brings before we agree to purchase something new, though. Okay.
I make a motion to table this.
I second it.
Ms. Little,
They probably did get new cars last year after the big flood.
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
It blows me away.
The next thing we have on the agenda is the Nevada Avenue. Who's here to speak?
Stacy may want to begin about this, but Mr. Zellers is here.
Property adjacent. The city has a strip of land between my property and Nevada Avenue, which has just not been used. What I'm asking is for an easement to use, and we will bring it over to the curb of Nevada Avenue, build a landscaping setback, which is, the city requires, and some ingress and egress in the back part of the lot. But it's just this, and I don't know if y'all got a copy of the.
They do.
Okay. It's just highlighted in yellow, a strip that when Nevada Avenue was built, they just left that piece of property unused. And you can kind of tell if you see a picture where the curb goes on about 10 feet beyond where Nevada actually pulls out. So there's just this, it's just an unused piece of land. I'm not trying to purchase it, or I just would like to get an easement because I'm building a 3-plex strip center next door. And we'll landscape it, we'll build the curb right up to Nevada Avenue, maintain the landscape, and then just have an entrance in the back, and then we'll have one entrance on 25 to get in and out of the strips. So just asking that the council grant an easement.
Does council have any questions or just need a motion to grant easement?
I've got just a question is why do we have that anyway? Are we using it for access for something at one time? Or
I think when the street was originally built, it was laid out to be wider than was necessary, and it's not being used. Can you, assuming they approve this, Charles, could you get us a description of the easement that you need.
It's a
Survey description.
Sure, for sure. We get that and can even draw the plans of what we intend to do with it. For one thing, if you want to curve it out instead of where it's blocked off right now, where the right-hand turn would be easier to make. And we're just going to landscape, not put any tall things that would obstruct your view turning. And then, so I could get the physical description and then also lay out a drawing of what we plan to do. And it's just a strip of landscaping and then an entrance in the back is all that. It's a very little piece of property, really not much that it's all within the setback from Nevada, so we can't build anything on it.
Well, is there a utility line there possibly? I'm just trying to figure out why we even have it.
I think you might be a little confused, and it's easy to see on that paper. There's an old alley that was never constructed on there. That's not that. It's this right here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
See,
Okay,
these people
okay, I
have
see now.
no idea what they're even doing. They don't even know
Sorry, I
what
didn't describe it
words
better.
mean. Half these
No, I
words.
just saw the yellow line on here. It was highlighted on the first page, and I didn't realize it. I was trying to figure out if it's something that we, if it's not anything we're using, why we even have it. But I see now if it's on the side of the road. So
When do you think you could get us that rendering?
Probably later this week, as far as that. As far as the title search, I'll have to hire someone to get the description for the title. I can get you a rendering pretty quickly, but the title search, however quickly I can pay someone to do it, get it back to me. I don't know how long they would take. They could take a month for that matter, but
I agree.
obviously I'll get that to you as soon as I get it.
They have no idea. All they know is when somebody says, I make a motion.
If everybody's good, just need
I
a motion
second
to
it.
approve.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I second it.
I will second.
Do your
Ms.
roll.
Little,
I'll second it again.
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
No.
Ms. Green,
They always seem unprepared.
I was kind of wanting to table it.
Yeah.
Would you all agree to table this until,
And Charles, this information was not given to the council until, I think, yesterday.
Okay.
And we need, when these
I
things
just
come
need to
up,
go see it and
That's fine. Yeah.
is that going to cause any conflict for you? Is that,
No, we're weeks out from starting to build anything.
Rich
We-
people,
like I said,
y'all.
We're not building anything on that piece of property anyway, but I do need the easement to, at some point, to get back.
we
there.
just need a little more time to do our due diligence to make sure. Okay.
But we also don't want to hold you up from,
Right.
No, you're not.
we don't want to do that. We want you to build stuff and be happy to be here. We want to be easy to get along with.
No, that's fine.
This
So I'll make a
guy's
motion to
money
table it.
man.
Well, we've got a motion on the floor that we have to finish. Ortega was a no, and then finish your roll call.
Ms. Green,
That's what that meant.
no,
Mr. Weaver,
No,
He's new money in
I'd like to make a
town.
motion to table it for next month.
I'll second that.
They don't want to make him mad.
Ms. Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next thing we have on the agenda is Kentucky Neighbors in Need of Sponsorship. She'll come to the podium here and speak. Say your name for him.
Leading the
My
blind,
name's Tina
y'all.
Barnes. I'm on the
Mayor
subcommittee with
Whittles.
the Neighbors in Need here in the city of
Leading the
London.
charge.
We actually formed this in August of 2024. It was right after the Good Samaritan House had temporarily shut down and there wasn't nothing around here. So we gathered and we talked about it. We decided to place homeless in a hotel or motel overnight with an option of a Greyhound bus ticket. Unfortunately, we've had several things happen within the community, given the shooter on the interstate and, of course, the holidays and then this going on right now. So in the meantime, I did go ahead and form a nonprofit, and I added Kentucky on it because I found out Neighbors in Need actually had an organization in Georgia. So I put Kentucky Neighbors in Need. And anyways, it was made to work with the city of London and Laurel County. And I know that we do have homeless here in the city, but
Another nonprofit.
it is definitely out in the county, especially around exit 29, around in that area. But I mean, even when you go to Walmart around in here, you're going to see a lot of people. I've started this with $0. I have done everything as much as I can on my own. I did start with board of directors that was with the subcommittee. They stepped down due to personal reasons. So I've got 7 new board of directors. I need to update that online, but it will be updated this week. Anyways, I need money, and I'm hoping I can get it from you guys.
They all do.
I do want to kind of talk about this for just a minute. Back when the Safer Kentucky Act took effect, I believe it was in July. It may have started the first part of August. HB 5 states a local government may designate indoor or outdoor areas with defined boundaries in an area zoned for commercial or industrial use, separate from any frequently used for public purposes, as a temporary camping location for unsheltered homeless individuals. It must contain potable water, adequate sanitary facilities such as portable toilets. I did send an email back in October, and I don't know. I didn't mean it to sound sharp. It might have come off a little sharp, and that was not my intention. But like I said, I never really heard back. And our meeting got canceled in December. It got canceled in January. So I've not really got to discuss much about this, but I do know the Good Samaritan House did open back up recently. The problem with the Good Samaritan House, I love it. It's fine. But it is made by local churches. Some are for it more than others, but they have some strict rules. And it's unfortunate they turn a lot of people away because they don't qualify. And I'm going to tell you right now, I probably wouldn't qualify for the Good Samaritan House. So if I became homeless today, tomorrow, they would probably turn me away. And the thing is you guys have people that you may go to work with, and they look like us. They may go to Planet Fitness and take that shower and eat. By law, they're allowed to be in their vehicle for 12 hours. They can sleep in their vehicle. There are some that may not, and there are some that does. They don't have to go to jail if they sleep in their vehicle, according to the Safer Kentucky Act. But we do have encampments in the area, and there are some people on my board of directors that is about that. Now, I did mention about this, and
let me just stop this real quick and let you know, with their board of directors, the way that the nonprofits work, at least what I know of them, so they can put anybody that they want on their board of directors on these nonprofits. So you can start a nonprofit, a 501c3, register it. It doesn't take nothing to do it. All you have to do is just do the paperwork or the forms, whatever, you register it, and you pay your fees or whatever. And then it's up to you to fill your board of directors. And what I've seen a whole lot of, your board of directors are volunteer, so they're not paid. That nobody really starts these nonprofits with any money. And so a lot of them end up being their family members, or the last one that I had experience with, it was their childhood friends' moms, and, people that were very like-minded and who had enough conflict of interest with whoever was setting it up that if they would have ever had any kind of disagreement or vote or anything, the people that they fill those seats with are not going to go against them, So any of their votes are already stacked. I mean, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how little oversight and then they're able to then apply for grant money, for federal grant money. A lot of the federal grants are matching grants, which if they use in-kind donations, which are usually just somebody donating their time or money or something like that, and it would match the grant when it's a matching grant like that. But there's so little oversight on all those things, and it really, really puts the landscape out there where you can't track the money. You can't track the money. And if you have different grants that are like that aren't related, like if you have several different unrelated grant fundings, you can't commingle that money. And a lot of the people that you've got on these things have no idea what they're doing. Like, they don't even realize half the time that they're committing crimes, financial crimes, or they absolutely do know that they're committing financial crimes and just pretend to be dumb. And then when somebody tries to explain to them, look, you can't do this, and this is why you can't do this, they'll fire you, honey. Now, I'm not talking about hers. I'm just talking about, I've had these experiences myself, so I kind of already know. And I don't have a very high opinion of it, to be honest.
And we did talk about it.
They might start out with good intentions, but you let the money start rolling in.
The mayor had come in and he talked about Pathway of Hope. He had at one point in time. I don't really know. I never really got details on that. I was wanting to, and I didn't.
But I'm not talking about
But I do
hers. I'm
know
just
that
saying.
during this time, since we didn't have it all set up, there has been warming centers in this area. And the mayor, the fire department, everybody has been about that. The mayor reached out.
There ain't nobody even knows how to
Neighbors in Need subcommittee. And I don't think anyone responded but me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he can answer that. I don't know. But I did show up.
They sure do.
And during that time, there was not enough volunteers. So the
Especially
mayor
now.
paid out of his pocket for, I believe it was 6 families that was in there, for them to have 2 nights stay at the local hotel.
I don't mean to sound really harsh. Okay, so he paid a little bit of money for 6 families to stay 2 nights in a hotel. Isn't this man like a millionaire? Like, did it really hurt him that bad to give a few families a couple of nights in a hotel without having to go out and brag about it and tell everybody about it? Because that ain't what looks good.
He didn't have to do that. They could have stayed actually right here. He moved it over here into the community center, but he made it more comfortable for them. So he did go out of his way. I did come, I went out on slippery roads. I don't have a 4-wheel drive. I honestly didn't want to get out of the house, but I felt it was my need, my duty to try to get out and help, because this was something that I signed up to do.
She's always
I really wasn't that passionate about it until recently. I did some part-time work at the county tourism, and sitting there at the receptionist desk, I met several homeless people in the area. And there was one couple that really just, weighed heavy on my heart. And most people would probably turn their heads to them. But there's something about this, because the man was a veteran with the military, and he had heart disease. His wife was a recovered heroin addict, but she was living off of their paycheck, and they're homeless. They sleep out in the ditch line and under a tree.
I gotta stop this. She's giving some big sob story. Let me tell you, we had a feller here in Jenkins that was staying in the park. My boy was down there fishing one day, and he said that some guy came up and gave him $4,000. I don't know if my child misunderstood how much money the guy was given, but he swore up and down that this guy gave him $4,000. Well, it came out, and it might have just been 400, who knows? But he still gave him a whole big bunch of money according to my child. And because he looked homeless. No, he had been in that park for a couple weeks. He had started building him like little shelter and stuff. He had a home to go to, but he wouldn't take a bath. They wanted him to take a bath, and he would not take a bath. He refused. And so he wasn't allowed back in to whoever's home he was staying in, allegedly, until he took a bath. And it was even people that worked at the gas station right next to it. They were like, no, do not give him no money. He has a place to go. And I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I'm bad. If I got cash on me when I go through Lexington and they're standing on the highways and byways with their cardboard signs, I give them what few dollars I have. But you have to remember, a lot of times the lifestyle that they live, they have options, but they choose not to go their options because of the rules. Like just what she was putting down the Good Samaritan house, because they probably wouldn't qualify. Well, I don't know what she's saying that for, maybe financially or whatever. I have no idea. But a lot of times people will turn away the help because they don't want to follow the rules, and I just needed to say that because I'm kind of not on the same page.
Over by Shiloh's and all the places over in there. And so it was on a Saturday. I said, well, come in. Let me see if I can help you. Let's see. Of course, I told them about Good Samaritan. They didn't qualify for Good Samaritan at the time. This was right before they had shut down. And she told me, she said she didn't have any IDs or anything like that. And I said, well, what can I do to help? And she said she was from Indiana, and it was a loop. She didn't have a driver's license, a birth certificate, a Social Security card. So she tried for her birth certificate, couldn't get it because she didn't have a Social Security card or driver's license. She tried for her license, couldn't do it because vice versa. It was like there was nothing we could do. So I was doing my best. I couldn't help her.
That's what case managers are for. Everything that she's talking about, that she's saying right there, that's probably 80 or 90% of the people who are homeless right now. I was a case manager at a homeless shelter. Almost everyone that came through there, we had to help get them a new copy of their birth certificate, a new copy of their Social Security card. These are very common issues with people who end up living on the street. If you're not a case manager, or if you don't have the resources available to help these people, there is really not much that you can do as an individual. But then again, you also got to go by past history. Why hasn't she been able to get it so far? Or I don't know.
I didn't have the resources.
Maybe I'm wrong.
So I gave her some T-shirts from the chicken festival and some water and food and drinks and stuff that was in there because before they come in there, I watched them out there for 3 days beforehand. And, I felt helpless. I didn't have the money to help them, but I did what I could. I told them about the CCC building, and I told them about Good Samaritan. Well, come to find out, CCC has vouchers, and they can help homeless individuals. But guess what? Not local. There's nothing for our local community.
What is it that you're needing from council tonight? You're running out of time.
I'm sorry. So basically, I am asking for...
She's been talking a lot longer than 2 minutes. They cut everybody else off at their time.
A monetary donation or sponsorship or something from the city, because it was agreed I was going to work with dispatch through London City and Laurel County Sheriff. I did add in the county because I do want to ask, the judge to get, I don't know, physical court or whoever I have to ask for. But I'm also asking, and I don't really know if you guys are a part of this or the tourism or what, but Levi Jackson, I mean, if you guys can't come up with a facility, I feel like Levi Jackson State Park should be able to donate a couple of spots, whether they have a tent or we provide a camper or something. And before you shake your head, no, there's a lot of people that can be homeless and they're not drug addicts. It's a death in the family. It's a job loss. You've got 18-year-olds going out on their own for whatever reason. I mean, and yes, you do have a big portion that's in drugs. But anyways, my point is I'm asking for monetary donations, sponsorship,
money,
because this is working with your subcommittee. This was formed to help your subcommittee. And I'm not really sure where we're at on this because the last 2 meetings was canceled. So
Mayor, who was on the subcommittee?
It's Kip, Stacy, and Donnie.
I'm probably not very
Oh, by the way,
popular.
Kip actually did pay in a sponsorship. So I actually had Kip, and then you've helped out. But anyone, I have not received any other help within the city officials.
What's the council's pleasure on this right here?
What is
We
your
buy
mission?
a camper.
What is your goal?
The goal? Well, I mean, we're a subcommittee. I was kind of, you know, Kip, I approached him because of the Good Samaritan. I think the subcommittee was just wanting to get, I didn't bring the list.
We lost
But,
Mom.
The goal is with Kentucky Neighbors in Need is to have, well, I'll read the mission statement. Hold on.
That might be helpful.
Okay, Articles of Incorporation. The purpose of this nonprofit corporation is helping the homeless individuals in London City and Laurel County, Kentucky, providing resources and a temporary place to stay overnight. So this is not long-term. This is
What are
me
you gonna
giving them
do?
resources to help them along. So I am raising money.
So she's not thought about this. So then what are you going to do tomorrow? And if your goal is to get a camper or a tent, who's that going to help? One tent, one camper? Who's going to make the decision on who gets that each night? Right? And if you let them stay tonight, what are you going to do with them tomorrow when they are still in the exact same position they were in yesterday and they have nowhere to go? Because I guarantee you, she ain't going to push them out that front door and say, I'm sorry, it's booked for somebody else tonight, but I'll watch you sleep under that tree. I mean, you know what I'm saying? She's not thought that through at all. Not at all. It's a lot bigger of a job than what and I'm not putting her down. Please don't think anybody think I'm putting her down at all. She's just not been experienced. She's not had the disappointment of it. She'll learn. If she keeps on going, she'll learn. It's very, very disappointing. We come into these projects with our eyes wide open and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and we're going to help everybody. But I'm here to tell you that most of them don't want help.
Money to help get the very things that the subcommittee wants.
I'm sorry.
Whether it be if I can do bus tickets or hotel motel. And I have talked to a local hotel owner.
That's what they need.
And Microtel. And he's been really good during the cold weather. This was, this is something that we've had a decent relationship with. So I would like to continue working with our local businesses.
My concern is how we take taxpayer dollars that the city people pay in, and we use those funds for a project like this, because it kind of opens a door to a lot of different situations.
Well, so here's the thing with Kentucky Neighbors in Need. They have to go through dispatch. They have to have a credit check. They have to make sure that there's nothing, nothing on them.
What about a drug
I'm going
test?
to have those rules.
What about a drug test?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be working with Comp Care. I'm wanting to work out something with some other individuals like RRJ and Protea and some other, but there will be mandatory rules. And I will be working with halfway homes, sober living homes, other places.
What she's talking about is a full-time job. This is a full-time job. Like, that's an over 40 hours a week. If you're wanting to get into something like that, how much you going to pay yourself on your salary? How much of that are you going to do for free without a paycheck? Not much. You're going to be getting your grant money, and then you're going to end up with a $100,000 salary that your board of directors has approved for your CEO or whatever you call. There's just too many of them. Too many crooks out there that may not go into, and I'm not calling her one. I'm just saying she don't know somebody else in that organization. If there's not, it costs a lot of money. And what she's talking about is a whole lot of money. It's a whole lot of donation. And
so it's not just me. I will be working with other nonprofits.
Since the committee isn't here that was formed, I'd like to table it and let us look at the law.
Okay.
And
Well,
see what kind of monies.
please review the HB5. Like I said, I took a snippet out of it, but this is something that's been going on. It's been on the news, part of the fall and during the winter. A lot of counties and cities and stuff has been doing things already. And you guys have had a lot of stuff going on and put this on a back burner, but these are people's lives. I mean, this is important. It don't need to be on a back burner. We need to do something.
Does the city
about this.
police give bus vouchers already?
CCC does. We
CCC.
contact them, and then, of course, the private individuals have donated a lot of money because CCC that can't. At one point, they couldn't keep up with. It's just too many. But they try to help everywhere they can.
And just like what that mayor just said, now he was right about that. It ends up being too many. As soon as the word gets out that there's a group in London that are giving you a place to stay, and see, she just said there's going to be rules, there's going to be this and that. But didn't she just start off with this whole thing saying the Good Samaritan house wouldn't accept people, won't take them? They've got too many rules. They're formed by churches that have too many rules. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, well, I'm going to set up something that's going to take all these people that they won't take. And then when you go to set it up and ask for money and they say, well, what restrictions do you have on it? What rules? Are they going to be drug tested? You know what? Oh, yeah. We're going to have all that. We're going to have all that. Come on, man. Come on. Think about this stuff before. I want to say before you speak, but I do the same
know
thing,
that,
I guess.
that there is a white flag ministry that, from hearsay, but there's an insider telling me that they paid about 65, 70 motel rooms so far for local individuals.
That's a
and
lot.
They're taking in people in our area as well, and that's down in Corbin. So,
who's supposed to keep paying for all that? Who's supposed to pay for all that? That's a whole lot of motel room money that would have went to a business, or that does go to a business. Somebody's got to pay all that. That's why most of us have jobs and we work to pay our rent, to have a place to live, have a place to stay, a roof over our head.
And on the other side. So,
man.
Anyways, we have them. There are people here.
I've been homeless before, so I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Our kids go to school with them, and it's important. So
We got a motion on the floor.
Stop.
Have you partnered up with any churches?
Huh?
Have you partnered up with any local churches?
I'm in the middle of I've reached out to a few. Some's answered, some hasn't. There was one that helped us with a giveaway. I've done a couple of events, and I've gave food and clothing away from donations. Like I said, I have zero money, so anything that comes in goes right back out to the community.
But she'll be doing it
had
for
a
free.
donation from IGA or EC Porter, and like I said, Microtel and Baymont Inn, the owner there.
It's a good dream. It's a good dream. But you're not going to work over 40 hours a week for free.
Has helped out.
That'll stop real quick.
Mr. Weddle has helped
promise.
out, and then of course our fire department. Mormon
Your
Church.
bills are going to be due.
I second.
You second the motion to table? Do your roll call?
Ms. Little,
Excuse me, what is the motion?
Yes.
To table?
Table.
Okay.
Mr. Young,
This is to table, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Close.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
next
Thank you,
thing
Tina.
on the agenda is Mr. Jarvis, Anthony Ortega.
Yes.
Email the
Elijah.
clerk.
Jarvis, did you still want to speak, sir? No.
Okay, next thing, Mr. Anthony Ortega, Councilman Ortega has reached out to the clerk about James Jones addressing the council.
Mr. Jones, are you here?
Good evening, everyone.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. Can we set a time limit of 2
Well, we
minutes?
said 5 minutes.
We need 5?
We
5 is
contacted everybody and told them 5 because you had emailed her 5 minutes.
5 is fine.
Okay.
This is the mole, you guys. This is the mayor's mole. Right here.
Let's be respectful during this. There is rules to order it in the council chambers. No outburst. We'll give you 2 warnings, and then we'll ask the city police to remove you. Let's just be respectful during this,
All they do is
and
laugh.
let's get through it.
They kick them out here in a minute.
Good evening, everyone. My name is James Ray Jones, and
He
I
backfires.
just want to say that I thank the council, Mr. Ortega, the council, the mayor, and everyone here for giving me the opportunity to speak. What I'm going to speak on tonight, I will tell you that I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to lose. I've been a member of this community
Red
for
flag.
20 years as I grew up over in Manchester. With 12 of those years, I have lived within the city limits of London. My father started a small business here in the city of London, in which I managed. Back a few years ago, I had considered running for mayor. I actually still have the Facebook page that one of my friends made me a flyer, JJ for mayor. Due to personal reasons at that time within myself, I didn't feel like that it was a necessity or an interest for me to go and move forward that until I better myself. And
Till I better myself.
after reviewing the current events that have taken place here in London, and with the vacant seat that became available here recently, I had an interest in running or placing my name in the hat for that position. And before I go any further, I have something for the record.
For the record.
And before I do this, I want to let everyone here know that my actions speak for myself. I stand here for me, not my mom, not my dad, not my children.
They didn't
If you
say-
get mad at me. Don't get mad at them. I speak of myself.
Oh, okay. Not for the mayor. The mayor did not send me here. He has a secret recording where he recorded people.
Once I got done cooking, man, back on the easy part, and it was cleaning. So once I started in on cleaning, man, I cleaned my kitchen and I cleaned my bathroom, and I swear I was cleaning the whole house. But I've got a pen and piece of paper here, man. If there's, because besides what I was telling you there.
You can tell this guy set whoever this is on the recording up. He set him up bigger than shit. And listen to how he repeats every word that this guy says. Like, how could you not tell this guy was recording you? How could you not know?
About the business wise and stuff. You have to go into this, man, super respectful, because the moment you start name calling and getting angry, you lose your audience. So how I would open it up with is, good evening, my name is James Jones, blah, blah, blah. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you tonight. I feel honored.
And if you listen, this guy is telling him what to say to be real respectful. Everything this guy recorded was like a good thing, and he's trying to bring it like he recorded him talking behind the mayor's back, or like it backfires on him big time.
Just open up with something like that, okay. Which sets the stage for you being respectful. And then you can say, Mayor, since you came into town, when you were campaigning for mayor, you were promising all these things: transparency, open door policy, all these jobs, high-paying jobs. You kept saying high-paying jobs. And he says, Mayor, you haven't delivered on any of that. Okay, so City Hall. Let me write this down. City Hall is so I'll do the respectful part about giving thanks to everybody, for allowing me to speak and this and that. And then I'll go straight into the mayor about the jobs. And I would say I capitalized high. Yeah. When you were campaigning for mayor, you promised a number of things. One was open door policy. Hold on, let me write that down. Open door policy. Okay, go ahead. Yep. You promised that City Hall would be open to everybody. You promised high-paying jobs, that you're going to move your business here and bring all these high-paying jobs. High-paying jobs, okay. And then you could say, and you could say none of that has been done. The exact opposite has been done. The opposite, okay. Yeah. You could say City Hall is locked down like Fort Knox. The front door is locked. You can't even get inside the lobby just to look around, because you have to be buzzed in like a, secure facility. Oh, wow. See, there is no open door. Yeah, man. When the last mayor was here, you could walk right in and sit down.
The way it's supposed to be.
You can't even get to the front door. Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. And he campaigned on open door policy. That's time. Yeah. So just say stuff like that, man. And then you can say, in regard to these high-paying jobs, you can say everyone that I've ever known that has ever worked for WB Transport is no longer employed there. I request more time.
No.
Can you explain? Can you explain what's in this audio?
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to put my name in the hat for that vacant seat. After building a relationship with Councilman Ortega, I realized that no matter who came and spoke during these so-called special meetings, no matter what kind of qualifications they had, no matter who it was, that council had already made up in their mind who they were going to select. Now, they went through the process of the way it was supposed to be done.
He didn't.
But I also have another audio I'd like to put in for the record.
Jones, we didn't have to have
And I also have hard copies I'd like to put in for the record. Because I was coerced into standing up here today in front of you. And the only reason why that I am here today to speak, and the only reason why that Anthony Ortega and Kelly and Judd and Justin and Stacy all agreed to let me speak today, is because they thought I was going to stand here and bash the mayor of London.
Mr. Jones, we let you speak because it's the right thing to do.
I didn't agree.
Okay, if you didn't, I have something for the record.
We let anyone speak here. Mr. Jarvis?
Yes. I don't want to, we're not going to play here tonight, Mr. Jones.
Let me play it.
No.
He says
We
it's the
gave
truth.
you 5 minutes.
I jotted some stuff down that you said last
Your
night.
time is up.
Turn it off and sit down.
You need to be, you're not gonna have that much time. They're saying.
Mayor, y'all gonna do something about it?
Stop them. You need to stop it immediately.
We want anyone to speak.
I think I deserve enough time.
Mr.
I think
Jarvis,
the
you will
people
speak.
and the voters of this community deserve to hear the truth. All we hear is transparency.
And that is
All
the
we
truth.
hear is transparency.
Okay, let's
And
stop.
all I've heard
No
so far
outburst.
is opinionated facts from one sided, from another sided. That's all that I've heard. I'm stating and giving you facts of what goes behind closed doors.
Where
Kelly,
is the
you said
police
it yourself.
officers that normally shut this down in a regular
said
meeting?
yourself-
Where are your police officers?
You said yourself to take the cameras off the buildings and put them on the cops.
Exactly.
How about we take the cameras and put them on you guys behind closed
Put it on
doors?
me. Put it on me.
Let's stop the outburst. Jane,
You put them on, but listen, the cops stand in every meeting we had.
James
And
Jones,
if
your time's
anybody
up.
says a word, they jump them and escort them out the door.
James,
You
your
need to
time's
go,
up.
sir. You need to go.
Your time is up.
Mr. Jones,
Give us the matter of record.
I have 2 hard copies for the
the
record.
public,
Yeah, bring them.
I'll let Mr. Jones
Give 'em
speak.
to the
Anyone's
officer.
able to speak here. I will put anyone on the agenda. Anyone on the
Give
agenda.
them,
It doesn't
Let me
matter
tell
to
you
me.
this.
Bobby.
I've got 2 more minutes. Give me 2 more minutes.
No, you don't.
No.
The $1 million question. The $1 million question is this. Nobody knew Randall Weddle before he ran for mayor. I knew him.
This is our meeting.
We were in the same business. I was in the same business, not with him,
He was in the same
but I was
business.
in the same business. I know it. I know that he has. And London is honored, sir, to have you as mayor.
Council's walking out.
You're
Next thing on. Let's stop the outburst. Next thing on the agenda is Jason O'Bannon.
We don't have a council.
The council didn't adjourn.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Let's stop the outburst.
He should be mayor.
Yes. If she outbursts again, I want her removed.
Take her out.
You know, there's a lot of talk. Is this on?
Yes.
There's a lot of talk about the embarrassment of
It gets
the city
better.
of London. You just saw it.
It gets better.
A person that,
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Right.
See, that's what I'm talking about. These snide remarks.
5 minutes.
See, once again, this is the example.
Let's stop the outburst
It's
from
not
the,
a baseball game where you scream from the crowd. Have some goddamn courtesy.
okay.
Oh,
Lord.
That's
Hey.
strike one. That's strike one.
Bobby,
Mr. Jarvis, Mr. Jarvis, please sit down, sir.
okay, that's enough.
Mr. O'Banion, go ahead, sir.
That's the guy who talked last time.
This council voted to,
Okay, Mr. Jarvis, you have to leave. Yes, you do. I'm the presiding officer. You have to leave. You do have to leave. Please leave. Officers removing from the building.
He threatened him. You go.
Please.
I'm done.
I threatened him by
Hold your
saying he
phone.
needed to have some courtesy.
I am done.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
That's
Mr.
exactly
O'Bannon.
right. I make a motion to adjourn.
Yes, make a motion to adjourn. Second it. No? Yes, yes, yes.
Go ahead, Mr. O'Bannon.
You got a motion, you're gonna have to do something about the motion.
Do something about the motion. Vote.
We have a motion.
The chair does not recognize the motion. Proceed with it. You know what's funny to me, council, is the first meeting in January, I sat silently and let you guys attack me and your crew. Now, you brought a guy in here tonight to try to attack me personally. Now, hold up, Judge. And he, hold your peace. I'm talking to council.
You're a disgrace.
But you guys sit here and set something up. And tonight, because somebody's questioned your authority, you guys don't want to hear it. But now I sit for over an hour and listen to it. I didn't set none of this up. You guys set this up.
Oh.
No, you did, Kelly. You did this. You absolutely did it.
So what I was saying, Mr. Ortega, last meeting,
Yes, sir.
the council approved to remove $500,000 from the city police budget.
Okay,
what was
let's
the reason
hold our
for
voices and let Mr. O'Bannon start his thing.
What about her? Can we get her out?
Could everybody just please hold and let's get through with Mr. O'Bannon.
I bet he did too.
You got 5 minutes, Jason. We'll start
His
the
time
clock.
already started, I believe.
He's not been able to start.
Yeah, he did start.
Go ahead, Jason.
Did you hear my question, Mr. Ortega?
No, sir.
Last meeting, it was voted to remove $500,000 from the
Correct.
city.
I second that motion that Stacy Binge made.
Yes.
Correct.
What was the reasoning behind that?
The reason is because over the last, I believe, 2 years, they've had a 48.5% increase in their budget. So I second his motion, and so far, none of that money has been touched because we haven't amended the budget, have we? So if any police officers are scared of losing their job or overtime.
No, I'm not saying that's
that
the
money
case.
has not been taken away yet.
I'm not saying that's the case. I was just looking for the reason.
Oh, yes, sir.
Thank you. Can this council, as one, dispel some of the rumors that are going around about jurisdiction for the city police department? By show of hands, can we show this community that we know by law, by statute, that the city police have jurisdiction?
Hey, Jason, you're asking them to make some type of legal conclusion or legal answer that they're not qualified to give. They're not giving you jurisdictional answers and things that
Look at his face. The lawyer, the mayor's new lawyer. That's who's talking.
that's not in their purview. They're not over the police.
Okay, well,
They've given their opinion before, and the law is clear. You and I both know it's clear.
Mr. Conrad.
And that's another lawyer. I don't know whose lawyer he is, but he was the old fart at the last city council meeting. So the mayor's got 2 lawyers sitting there that are bumping heads.
I'll ask you, is the law clear on the city police having jurisdiction out in the county without the need for any other law
The
enforcement
law
agency?
allows, in certain situations, yes, the law.
What
does
are
allow
those
that.
certain situations?
Jason, I don't know every one of them, but the law does allow.
Okay, please hold.
Jason, the way it's always
Mr.
been
Conrad,
done, the way it's
look,
always
I
been-
know what it's always been,
Yeah, it's
but
always
I'm
been
telling
the
you,
assistant
the KRS, and I'll hand it to you.
Here, give it to the officer, Jason. Let him bring it up.
He's over his time, please. No, it's not. Yes, he is. 5 minutes,
Please,
22
please
seconds. Yes,
hold any comments.
See, the problem with this is
himself.
we scream transparency, and when something is shown to you, and Mr. Cessna, you know the answer to this. When the cities, when the classes of the cities changed in 2015, it also changed what the city police could do. It's right there in KRS. You've defended people who've been arrested outside the city by the city police. So you know that this, and your argument wasn't they were out of their jurisdiction. So you know the answer to this. Just quell the rumors that they have. Now listen, before we move this, just because someone has the right doesn't mean whatever happened was right. I'm just saying, if we set a mark of what the standard is to quell some of these rumors, then why can't we?
So are you asking me a question?
Yes.
And that being, what is your question? And I'll answer you.
Do
Are
the
you asking
city-
me, are city police allowed to do that? Yes, as I stated, there are certain circumstances where that is allowed. The KRS, you're right, there's a KRS, you can read, I can read, like, there are situations and circumstances where that is allowed. My response to you was, there's no need to ask the council that. They're
I
not
understand.
lawyers. They don't, they're not asked to enforce the law.
Mr. O'Bannon, are you requesting us to limit the city police to just to the city?
No, I'm just saying that even petitions going around and things like this are no jurisdiction, no jurisdiction. And I think if you started a baseline of no jurisdiction, then you don't even have to go to step 2 or 3 while we're there. No jurisdiction, well, they're guilty. But as a council for transparency, to be able to say, yes, they have that authority. Again, it doesn't make it right or wrong what happened, but where do we start to start moving forward to quell some of these rumors that don't know jurisdiction? That's my only point.
Well, when I got, okay, if they do have county-wide jurisdiction, they don't need to be patrolling out in the county. This is a city.
But
so we're doing their citizens in this town an injustice if our policemen are out in the county when they could be in the city where they're needed.
And that's a topic for the state legislators.
No, it's a topic for
No,
this
it's
town,
for
but
this.
we can decide
The city
if they
council
work
can
outside the city
restrict-
limits or not, unless they're needed for a backup or
Mutual
whatever.
aid.
No, they can't.
That's right.
And that's what I said. But
I said no, they can't. So Barbara says Conrad Sessa is the lawyer for the council members, not the mayor. So thank you for saying that, Barbara, because that reminded me at the last meeting that we watched on stream, the council members put forth a motion to hire a lawyer, to take money or set money aside to hire them an attorney to represent them. So this must be who they've hired. Barbara says the mayor has his lawyer sitting down there beside of him. So that's that old man that was with him at that last meeting. So thank you, Barbara, for telling me that.
But where do we start the debate?
There is no debate.
So they can or can't?
They can, but they shouldn't be.
Randall, we're at 8 minutes. Thank you.
Jason, you got anything else you'd like to say?
I do. There was this council decided to do away with the memorandum of understanding between the sheriff's department. Is that correct?
That's,
I'm not even
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the contract that you guys
The
voted
contract
on
that
last meeting.
you weren't there, Mr. Judd, but prior to that, you all, Stacy and Mrs. Green voted to do away with that memorandum.
The task force.
The task force.
yes,
And
John Root says it doesn't exist.
right. John Root says it doesn't exist.
that's right. There's no gray area in that, is there?
Well, in light of what's happened, do you think we actually need one?
Go to the Laurel County Sheriff's Department Facebook page. December 19th, 2024. Laurel County Sheriff John Root is reporting that the Laurel County Drug Interdiction Task Force, comprised of the Laurel County Sheriff, Haida, Knox County, London City Police, with assistance of the Kentucky State Police, arrested 17 individuals. This is less than 2 weeks before he lied to you. And don't believe just the press releases on the website.
Jason, was it not to be made up by the sheriff's department and the city police? Haida?
Yes.
Okay, and how many sheriff's deputies are involved in it now?
My understanding is 2.
No,
No,
no
zero.
longer.
So no longer.
No
That's right.
longer.
So how does
right now what is what you see is not technically legal, I would think.
that's correct.
Right.
So what I encourage this council to do, instead of letting John, you do the bidding for John, do like I did, do a FOIA request, an open records request, because the city police and the sheriff's department requested reimbursement from HIDA in December, November, and October. So if there was a defunct task force, why would we put on paper that we need reimbursed for overtime? It's an interesting question.
Yeah, it is.
Because I don't want somebody to lie to you and then you give false information because you are trusting them. It's very interesting.
It happens all the time, buddy.
I appreciate it. And your time is way past due, so.
Cops do it all the time.
Let's move on with city business, please.
They're just
Thank you,
officials.
Jason. The next thing on the amending your budget. No one spoke to me
money.
about this. It says the council attorney. Jens, what's the process in this, Conrad?
Yes, so my understanding, and with Mr. Bryson's, longstanding history, I hope he'll assist on this if I'm mistaken in any way, but there has to be a change in the budget to include my fees. Under the appropriations, we have, $155,000 budgeted for professional fees.
Here comes the lawyer getting his money, y'all.
And I'm just looking at this year's budget. Under the attorney section,
Is he supposed to even be
there's
talking?
$141,200, which is budgeted for, I'm assuming that's the city attorney or whatever other legal services that may be needed outside of that.
Oh, okay. So this is why the old fart gets mad. Watch.
I understand that budget is earmarked for that. We do have a spot, like I said, under the appropriations for professional fees. And I think to cover the expense of me and my services, that professional fees line item needs to be converted to a legal fees line item.
Why is he even talking? This is a city council meeting. Like, shouldn't he have done that, like, not at the meeting? Like, it should have been brought up by a city council member or whatever. Like, why is he talking? Is he going to be the one to put forth a motion? What the heck, man? This is who we elect to our elected offices.
So that we can ensure that I get paid. My point being, the money is that there's professional fees budgeted for. To my knowledge, there are no other professional fees that the city council would incur. I can guarantee you that my fees will be likely a third of that.
Hit the like button
So
for me,
if there is some more needed,
please.
it can be used in other areas, but that's my suggestion.
As far as the other professional fees are concerned, I know we've had engineers and people like that have been working on the design for the police station. And the audit, we pay the auditors out of that. I'm not as well versed as probably.
The lawyer was telling them where he saw the money in the budget for them to, and he thinks it's a good idea for them to pay him out of that pot of money. Like, what the heck is going
Probably
on?
the city clerk is about the particulars of that line item, but you may be best served by looking for the money somewhere else other than.
You may be best.
Would you know, and I can speak to the city clerk if she knows kind of where we're expecting that. This is under the appropriations that are earmarked for the council.
Yeah.
So that's why I was suggesting that fund, because like I said, $155,000 seems to be like I said, that would more than cover my fees.
Yeah.
And if I need to get with the clerk to figure out what professional fees are anticipated, I can obviously do that, but it seems that there ought to be some wiggle room in that number.
Yeah. Have any of the council members talked with Sherry about this? She's the person that usually helps with the budget.
I can't speak as to who all, everybody the council has talked to. I have worked with KLC, and quite frankly, this was their suggestion as well. Once I saw the line item of professional fees, especially with it being earmarked for the council, that led me to believe that there would be some room there to pay me. So, and quite frankly, I'm not in any hurry to get paid or anything like that. If we need to bring it back up after speaking with the city clerk to see what anticipated expenditures they have as far as professional fees go, I'm okay with that. I'm not.
Yeah.
If the line item's there, why can't we just make a motion?
Well, that's not the way you amend the budget. That's one reason.
Mr. Bryson, you said that we should, as a council, should get with Sherry.
Yes.
People don't know what they're doing.
Did you not send out an email saying to all city employees, do not talk to the city council?
Yes,
Did I?
yes, you did.
It was either you or the mayor.
You
that
said not to speak to any employees in
speak
the
to-
city.
So the mayor's lawyer sent out a memo and told the city council that they are not allowed to speak with any of the city employees.
You instructed all city employees, do not speak to the council, speak to Mr. Bryson.
Yes, we did.
But it'd be a little hard for us to speak to Sherry if you.
But
are
have you
directing
been
her.
speaking to Katie?
Well, she's a city clerk.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been speaking to one of the employees?
Isn't it her job to do the agenda?
She's a
Well, you're not gonna fire
liaison
her, are you?
between us and you.
Sure. I mean, it is her job and she's doing it. We've not restricted any of you guys talking to her.
Well, just like Mr. Jones is recording, City Hall is locked down. You can't even walk in the front door. Has anyone tried that?
I think it's a shame that you hear something you don't agree with, something you're ready to scud up and walk out on the citizens. The mayor's an actual leader, and he'll never turn his back.
How much is he paid to speak?
Since you bring that up, I want to clarify. When I come into office, the ladies of City Hall asked that I lock it down. And it was because of the race that I was in was so hostile that they feared for their lives.
So what they're saying, one thing that came out in this meeting was that London City Hall has been locked down since he took office. That's what he's saying, that the ladies who worked there asked him to lock it down because the race that he was in was so hostile that they feared for their lives. So they have kept City Hall locked down. So anybody that comes there has to be buzzed in and searched. I don't think that's the way public property and a public government building is supposed to be run. But these people get in these offices and they think that it's theirs to own instead of, being elected.
The facts.
Oh, my Lord, help.
You really believe that shit?
And if you go into any courthouse across this country, you get checked before you come into it. Every government building across this country is locked down. These women asked me to do it, so I did it.
Put a police officer at the door and open for business.
You just gutted them $500,000.
Open for business.
That has not been done yet. The $500,000 has not been taken away yet.
Again, you are more than welcome to reach out to me 24 hours a day for any information that you need.
Well, back to the budget thing, the last thing I want is for this to be an area of contention for money for me. That's not something I'm overly concerned about at this particular moment. If we need to speak to more appropriate people, look, I mean, I'm new to this. I understand that. I appreciate Mr. Bryson taking the time to answer and tell me where to go. And if our council needs to speak to somebody, the last thing I want is for everybody to get pissed off and storm out and mad over my money. So I'll make sure that we find a place to get it. And if we need to address that at next month's meeting, I'll be more than happy to
How is
to
he
have
gonna?
more clear answers at that point.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to come up.
What the hell did I just hear him say? I've got to go back, y'all. What did he just say? Did you all hear that?
Lives. That's the facts.
Oh, my Lord, help.
You really believe that shit?
That was too far.
$500,000.
Open for.
Well, back to the budget thing. The last thing I want is for this to be an area of contention for money for me. That's not something I'm overly concerned about at this particular moment. If we need to speak to more appropriate people, look, I mean, I'm new to this. I understand that. I appreciate Mr. Bryson taking the time to answer and tell me where to go. And if our council needs to speak to somebody, the last thing I want is for everybody to get pissed off and storm out and mad over my money. So I'll make sure that we find a place to get it. And if we need to address that at next month's meeting, I'll be more than happy to have more clear answers at that point.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to come
glad
up
he
and
will.
we can sit down with Sherry.
No problem at all.
Detailed report.
Not an issue.
So that would be
I make a
concluding.
motion that we table.
Okay,
We talk to Sherry.
we got a
I
second.
think that is acceptable.
Is there a second to table?
I second.
Roll call.
Ms. Little,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega.
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes,
All right, just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to the
Ms.
council.
Little,
We didn't know.
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega.
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Listen
Yes.
to the
Mr.
hot
Weaver.
mic after this.
I've never been to this service.
Huh?
Yeah.
How much was he paid to say that to Sam? It cost him.
He can say that.
Well, thank you so much. It was a plan. We're sorry. I'm sorry I got mad.
Welcome back.
Kelly, I'm Doug Hampton.
Hi, Doug. Sorry I got mad. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
No, you're good. No, they're not. It was all fluff.
They broke out in a brawl for the super mayor, Tiffany from Dalton in Illinois. I saw that on there today. They broke out, had a big old fight at their city council. Okay, so I want to show you all one more thing before we go. So this is a petition that has been circulating, and I put the link of the petition in the description of this video. So if you guys want to go sign the petition, you're more than welcome. It says, the immediate removal of Chief of Police, London, Kentucky, and all elected city officials. So they are asking for them all to be removed. On the night of December 23rd, 2024, officers with the London City Police arrived to serve a warrant for a stolen weed eater that belonged to a retired judge executive. Officer arrived to the wrong address, kicked the door in, and proceeded to pew-pew the innocent man, Doug Harless. The officer involved was Josh Morgan, so he's been named now. London City Police served a warrant outside their city jurisdiction in Lilly, Kentucky, at the wrong address and unalived an innocent man. The man they were looking for had been arrested a few days prior. A neighbor got the footage on her security camera and should sue for damages with a civil rights attorney. We need all 7 officers who trespassed on this innocent man's property removed from ever holding a badge again, and all their superiors to immediately resign. including the chief of police, or including the chief of London, Kentucky Police Department and mayor of London City. And here's a couple comments that have been written. Josh says, we should feel safe in our own home. Instead, I feel the opposite. The London PD should be held accountable for this disgusting display of disregard for the law. An innocent man paid the ultimate price for London PD's negligence. For too long, I have watched as local police do whatever they please, whenever they please. I've been assaulted, arrested for no reason. No more will I stand by while our community suffers at the hands of tyrants. Megan says an innocent man lost his life at the hands of those called to protect and serve. We have to do better. Justice for Doug. When citizens, well, I don't know where that one went. Okay. If someone comes banging on my door at 11:50 p.m. at night and then kicks their way through my door, I would have a pew pew. Anyone around here would. Doug didn't have a chance either way. Kevin says this should never have happened to this innocent man. Looks like at least one of the officers would have noticed that they was at the wrong address. There was only 9 of them. Not one of the 9 noticed those great big numbers on the side of the door. They should be held accountable. Take a man's life over a stupid weed eater is ridiculous. Prayers for all this man's family. Melinda says the police in London and Laurel County are ridiculous. You are guilty till proven innocent in any situation. I have been pulled over, pulled out of my car, disrespected, and treated like crap so many times in front of my kids and my grandchild in the last year by them myself. Over stupid stuff, wrote tickets that shouldn't have even been given, charged with charges I was innocent of, and they were threw out by the judge. It is unreal how these cops treat you because they think you may be guilty of something. I've never been so disrespected by anyone as I have Laurel County cops. And before they even knew the true story, I don't feel safe when I get pulled over. None of us do. I don't know anybody who does, to be honest. I couldn't imagine them barging into my home. I would have pulled a pew pew too. We all want justice. Time for police around here to get theirs. So disrespectful. Serve and protect, yeah, right. My kids even see this. Donna says, who is responsible for conducting this investigation? Is anyone conducting an investigation? If so, where are you at? The audio tape that is out tells you all you need to know about this. London needs to wipe the slate clean and start over with some educated professional people to run the city. London has grown so much that the good old boy system is not going to work anymore. London deserves better than this fiasco. Malachi, everything that happens that night is illegal and very sketchy. No one wants to shred any truth or light on the situation, so let's do it ourselves. Absolute incompetence by officials and the police department. Every officer involved should be fired and prosecuted. The Constitution means nothing to these officers. Someone other than their friends, i.e. the state police, should be investigating this, but they're their friends too. If it were anyone other than the police that committed this crime, the investigation would be complete and the offenders would be incarcerated pending trial. Too much good old boy and blue line corruption going on regarding this crime, and make no mistake, it is a crime, not just a mistake. A man lost his life over a weed eater that the department would have cared less about had it belonged to anyone other than one of their own. who works in the criminal justice system, and they certainly wouldn't have broken a door in at midnight over it. Who in their right mind would think it's okay to bust in a door at midnight over a weed eater? Anyone with common sense would realize that is unreasonable and unacceptable. The police chief should have been removed after the way the Joseph Couch situation was handled. There seems to be a pattern of complete ineptitude in the London Police Department. It's not just in London, honey. It's all over the place. I just saw one praised on our Facebook page the other day, one that's got him a job at the Letcher County Sheriff's Department. They just go from one department to the next, go from Jenkins to Neon to Whitesburg to the Sheriff's Department. And they just brag and think he's the best thing since sliced bread. And he's the most incompetent tub of lard I've ever seen in my life. We, the citizens of Laurel County, deserve better. The police are not above the law and need to be held accountable, certainly in this cluster fork. He needs to resign. Justice for Doug Harless. All right. I'll leave them there. If anybody wants to go, excuse me, if anybody wants to go and sign that petition, let's see how many signatures that they've got. 857 verified signatures. So if anybody wants to go sign it, just click the link in the description and it'll take you to it. And I will see you all at 7. We've got another good show this evening. All right, y'all. Stay blessed. It's pretty warm outside, so I won't say stay warm. Stay blessed. All right. Peace out, Girl Scout. See you at 7. Bye.